Hello everyone, welcome to Talks by Harshita. Now today we will be doing a very important topic. We will definitely get a question from this topic in any of the competitive teaching exams that you would give. Now the topic that we have for today, the topic that we have for today, it is Kothari Commission. We have to, in my previous videos, I have discussed about the other commission that we have. Now, this commission, we have to remember the dates. It was from 1964 to 66, and this again, as all of us know, that any of the commission gets named after the chairman that makes the commission. So, Dr. D.S. Kothari, Daulat Singh Kothari was the one who was the chairman of this commission. This commission was made by Dr. D.S. Kothari. This commission is also called the Indian Education Commission. Now in this video, this commission is very important, and in this particular video we will be studying about what the objectives of this commission and what were its merits, what were its main recommendations, merits and demerits of this commission. So now let's start with the objectives of this commission. So we have to remember what is the difference, like how is this commission different from the other commission, because this was the first commission that talked about all the levels of education. We have to remember it talked about the primary level of education, also it talked about the secondary level of education, and it also talked about the higher education also. So this was the first commission that talked about all the levels of the education, and again the objective was to improve the structure and quality of education at all levels. Okay, the main objective of this commission, the Kothari Commission, was to improve the structure and the quality of education at all the levels. Now, if we talk about its major recommendation of this commission, we have to remember there was some major recommendation of this commission that has actually laid the foundation of our modern education system that we have today. So first and the foremost recommendation that it had was the structure of education, that was 10 plus 2 plus 3. As per this, even we are following this structure today also, or of course after NEP 2020 there has been a change in the structure, but this commission said that there should be 10 years of general schooling. It said that there should be 2 years of higher education. It's secondary education. Higher secondary education, and it said 3 years of higher education, the university degree that we get. It should be higher education. So the first thing, it talked about the structure of education, since its emphasis was on all the levels of the education. So it talked about all the levels. It said there should be 10 years for general schooling, there should be 2 years for higher secondary education, and 3 years for higher education. It also talked about the free and compulsory education. It said that there should be free and compulsory education for all the children between the age group of 6 to 14 years of age. Apart from that, it also talked about the 3-language formula that we have to remember to promote national integration. It talked about the 3-language formula. It said that there should be 3-language formula. The first, especially in the junior classes, the medium of instruction should be the regional language or the mother tongue. Then it said Hindi should be another language, and then English. Basically, it was being done to promote the national integration in the country, or to promote the national values of the country. It also talked about a common education system, somewhat like, it also talked about a common. It said that there should be a common education system wherein everyone, girls, some everyone can study in the regular school, whether it is girls, whether it is people from the marginalized groups, or people from the socially disadvantaged group. Everyone can study together in the regular school. It talked about a common education system for everyone. It said that it should have a common education system. It also focused on science and mathematics. It said that if the country has to develop, then there should be special focus on science and mathematics. For the modernization and the national development, there should be science and mathematics it should have the focus, special focus. It also talked about vocational education. It said that the nation should prepare the students for the real life skills. So they should develop some vocation, or they should develop some employable skill. So it emphasized on vocational education. Then about the teachers training, it said that there should be proper teachers training, so that if the teachers are not qualified, how would they educate the students? So there should be proper teachers training. Salaries, with better salaries for teachers. And one of the major recommendation that it had, it said that 6% of GDP, India's GDP, nation's GDP, should go into education. 6% of the gross domestic product of the country should be contributed towards the education. So these were its major recommendations. We have covered the objectives, the recommendations. Now we will be talking about the merits and demerits. Now if I talk about the merits, if you would just see all the things that they have given, they would be the merits. That 3 language formula, free compulsory education, then common education system, focusing on science and mathematics, vocational education, these were all the merits only. Okay, almost all the recommendations were merits. Now talking about the demerits. See, if I talk about the demerits, then the implementation was very weak. It said, it gave all these recommendations, but there was nothing on implementation part. So implementation was very poor. Again, the 6% GDP that it talked about, it never mentioned it. Again, the implementation of the that was not also practically not possible. Okay, giving 6% GDP, 6% of GDP to education, that was not practically possible. And all of this increase the inequality between the urban education and the rural education, because the urban education, they began to develop, but then the rural education, they did not get the proper implementation, they did not get the proper resources, due to which there was a gap between the urban and the it was between the urban and the rural schools. So with this we come to the end of the video. Now to conclude, we can say that this was one of the commission that laid the foundation of the modern education system that we have today. As we can see that so many things that we have, we are even following today. So this foundation this commission particularly laid the foundation of modern education system. Now I will just tell you briefly what all did we cover. We basically covered the Kothari Commission. It is very important. You will definitely get a question from this commission. Mark my words. Okay, and we talked about its major recommendations. We talked about the merits it had and the demerits, and it laid the foundation of modern education. Now if you found this video helpful to any of your context and you want me to make more videos like this, then I would request you to like, subscribe and share my videos. Thank you so much for watching.